realistically for somebody like myself who live in the DMV area. Nas' impact or lyrical ability kind of didn't do nothing for us because we grew up on go-go for so long. So even in that first group of rappers that kind of really made an impact for millennials, Jim Jones would be one of the head forefronters at that situation. You talking about '06 when a lot of people, you talking about millennials, like peak millennials is in their late 30s, early 40s, are just getting out of high school or in high school, and Jim Jones got balling in '06 and that whole True Religion run. Like you having those conversations, for those people, Jim Jones is more influential than Nas. Like I know for people, if you are born and raised in New York City and you in your, and I think again with these conversations, especially people who are feeling offended by Jim Jones comments speaking to Nas in that breath of air, it's like you so realistically you're so old, you kind of like these conversations shouldn't even be had, but it's to the point where you feel like it's crazy because realistically you were probably even still 10 years older than the people who were like, oh, in '06, Jim Jones with the trues and the antique denims and all of the skulls hanging off the, all of those cool fashion trends that Jim Jones and Jewels and them were setting at that time. That probably even missed you because you were already kind of older. That means realistically, those who were in their 20s at that time, you probably was in your 30s, so you weren't even paying attention to those things. And social media wasn't as big, so that means you had to actually be outside to really get hip to what the new trends was. People was actually still going to the mall. So for all of those things being said, it's like I think you would be doing hip hop in these conversations a huge disservice if you're not acknowledging in that prime '06 Jim Jones ball. And even I can probably argue, for, especially for most people, especially for most dudes, one of Trey Songz's biggest songs for a male demographic was Summer in Miami. Like, listen to what I'm saying. You can talk about balling, how crazy balling was, but Summer in Miami, I'm talking about for the DMV in that '06 era on that album, that same exact album that balling was on, bro, Summer in Miami had the DMV on smash. So that's my point. I can't remember a time where it was like, oh my God, like you riding around listening to that new Nas. And I think realistically, because some of these conversations are so dominant by people from New York City. And of course, Shannon Sharpe is old. Shannon Sharpe not really a crazy hip hop person. So this is just him probably looking on the internet, or him even being a little bit older, which will probably make more sense with, okay, when Shannon Sharpe was in his prime of his career, he probably realistically may have been in his locker room listening to Nas. Maybe, I don't know. I probably would kind of debate. I don't think that's true, especially because Shannon is from the South and he don't sing like Nas will be his cup of tea. But cool, if that is the case, I'm not here to argue that one. But I hate the fact that influence people hate to and like to discredit influence when it's not beneficial to your favor, because let it be a Jay-Z and Nas conversation, and but maybe because you feel like the skill level of them two rapping is way more closer, everybody will jump out the window off the, oh yeah, well Jay-Z